are the benefits and drawbacks of increasing the federal minimum wage? This is our research question. Increasing the federal minimum wage to the extent of $15 would have cultural, economic, and political drawbacks. While increasing to an amount like $10 wouldn't have as significant drawbacks. My cultural claim was a minimum wage increase to $15 would have a negative impact on every income group in America. America's poor class would not see as much benefit as publicly perceived to the federal minimum increase to an extent like $15. This is because fast food prices would go up, and fast food is heavily consumed by the poor class. And I have put support this. First, prices need to be raised with government spends. This will cause sales to drop for one reason. The high cost will simply turn some customers away. After all, they eat fast food because it's fast and cheap. Because fast food is heavily consumed by the poor and middle classes, a big detriment to the culture of buying fast food, and they would probably be turned away by the higher prices. The middle class would be very negatively affected by a minimum wage increase to $15. This is because all the prices on their daily goods would go up, and they wouldn't see a price raise in their jobs, so they wouldn't get any compensation for their daily stuff going up. And employment rates would also go down, and this is shown by when we increase from $9 to $11, employment rate in $19 per hour jobs and $13 per hour jobs went down. And then even more when we increased from 11 to $13 per hour jobs went down to 60% unemployment rate. The federal minimum wage increase to $15 would negatively affect the culture of the rich class. This is because real estate prices would go up, and since rich people like going on lots of vacations and using their money on that thing, when they get to go to a rental home on the beach or something, the prices would be way up, and they wouldn't like that. And I have a quote to support this. In this case, if minimum wages go up and employment doesn't, then workers will bid up the price in housing and be willing to accept higher cost of rent. The landlord knows that all workers are making $15 an hour and over. The minimum is easy to charge more. That seems to make for housing costs. And since rich people like to go on vacation, they would probably rethink about what they're doing and maybe have to buy their own house. This graph shows that how the unemployment rate drops. So in 52% of the time that we raise the federal minimum wage, the unemployment rate goes up, and 4% is unchanged, and 43% it goes down.
My political claim is an increase of the federal minimum wage to $15 would create a block in politics and will not help the ego. The people have the power to change what they want in the political world. If the population wants the minimum wage to be changed or raised, they can have the power to use their voting power to change that. And I quote, the ineffectiveness of high minimum wages is discouraging, but what is nearly as discouraging is its unambitious target. That's right, we should aim higher, even if the fight for 15 were not bound by economic reality and doomed to be a job destroyer. Creating a chance for people to change the federal minimum wage would be as simple as voting or gaining followers towards a reliable cause like the fight for 15. The main groups of people that are benefited from the raise of the minimum wage are men and women 20 or older, full-time workers, people that live without their parents, and people who work for large corporations. Increasing the federal minimum wage would increase the amount of people trying to find jobs with an increased wage. If the amount of people that try to find those jobs increase, then the amount of jobs given to those people will decrease due to high demand. Also, I'll quote again. The dismal truth from abysmal science is that when the price of something goes up, people buy less. The number of workers that a firm will hire at $15 is less than the people that they will hire at $7.75.
another claim is a minimum wage increase to the extent of $15 would have a negative impact on the economics of the U.S. Raising the federal minimum wage would cause employment to go down, living prices to go up, and a rise in inflation. I have a graph that shows the relationship between unemployment and minimum wage. When unemployment is in blue, we can see that it goes down as the minimum wage goes up. And I have a quote on how the raise in minimum wage would affect living costs. One Los Angeles-based blogger estimated a rise in rental prices by $173 a month if the minimum wage was increased to $15 an hour. By raising the minimum wage, they would lose money because they had to pay more for housing. Inflation would rise while her market income raises by $494. She loses $71 in EITC refunds, that's tax refunds, pays $37 more in payroll taxes, and $45 more in state income taxes. She also loses $88 in food stamps benefits, and $528 in child care subsidies. Because of inflation, she loses more money than she gains, and she also loses benefits that she had to take care of some the problems that she suffered. And there's a graph that shows it too.
Our counter argument is to say it could be seen as unethical, not helping out the poor with the pay raise. They would get from the federal minimum wage being increased. It's also unethical to take away from the rich and not giving the poor as many.
Possible solutions are raising the federal minimum wage to $10, but a limitation would be there are plenty of people of the rich and middle class that oppose this. Another solution is help educate people on the possible drawbacks of raising the $15, but this would cost the government more money to implement, and they would rely on raising taxes for this. Rise amounts slowly in small increments to test the waters. Might not get everyone to agree on lowering it if it doesn't. So we're excited.
Okay, thank you. So Connor, I'm going to start with you. So if you would give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Maddie's findings.
Well, I saw that she did a graph on unemployment, and that made me think that maybe I should include something about unemployment in my piece, because unemployment is a big part of our culture in America. So I decided to implement that into mine as well when I saw hers.
Okay, thank you. And then next is for Michael. What is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' individual reports that you decided to exclude from your presentation, and why?
Connor tried to include that raising the minimum wage to a $15 amount would stabilize the economy, but our argument was to raise it in a smaller amount, like a $10 amount, and that would make the economy stronger. So we left out the $15.
Okay, and then finally, Maddie, describe how the content of your team presentation was changed as a result of group discussion.
We discussed not raising the minimum wage so high. A couple of us said that we should, and it just kind of changed the argument after us discussing the problems that would come from it.
Okay, thank you.